Right, guys. Let's bloody try. Let's give this a bloody go, shall we? Let's give this a bloody go. Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. This could be fascinating. We are about to do our first ever phone-in live on the James Lawrence Allcott channel. It's deadline day. I thought, look, I could just spout a lot of the same stuff that you're going to be hearing all over the place on Sky Sports News and people not really knowing their stuff. Or we could have an actual proper decent conversation. So I thought that's much better. So let me go through the rules and then we will just have a chat, and I've got some people that are going to come in. If you want to get involved, there should be a link in the description. What I need you to do though, guys, is obviously behave with it all, right? So the aim is this. If you get in the chat, all you got to do, I want you to give me the topic and use the emoji that you can see in the chat right now, which is a waving hand saying basically you want to get involved and you want to have a chat with my good self. Okay. Then once we've got you in there, we want you to move into the waiting room, which is on my Discord. If you're not part of my Discord, the most beautiful people on the planet are there. So if you'd like to make some beautiful friends, go there, enjoy yourself. I often actually ask people will help with titles and all sorts of stuff. So it's a nice place to go if you want to get involved. And one day, hopefully, I'll be able to stream Football Manager again, so we can get involved in all of that. Sorry, I just saw in the chat something. 5-1 bet on mute. Cheers, Rob. Thanks for that. Loads of you here ready to go. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then you won't be able to comment. So make sure you subscribe. And if you're generally a good egg, get involved in doing that as well. And like the stream as well. It massively, massively helps. Moving our way to 135. So get on involved. Right, I'm not going to mess about. Let's get straight into it. And we're going to start off with Ethan. There's been lots of kind of moves that have been made. I'm going to drag him in just a second. But what I do want to do is kind of run through some of the top bits and pieces in case you haven't seen them as of yet. So let's have a little look at some of those bits and pieces. At the moment, it seems like there's some amazing moves going on at Swansea. Which we can talk about maybe a bit later on. Man United confirm return of club legend Cristiano Ronaldo from Juventus for 15 million. Premier League clubs going to a day having spent close to $1 billion despite everything that's been going on. Shows the power of the Premier League massively.
Juventus for 15 million. Premier League clubs going to a day having spent close to $1 billion.
I knew there'd be one. I knew there'd be one. Don't go into the studio until I drag you in, okay? Just got rid of someone. There's always one. There is always one. There we are. Let's go back to it. Spurs close to a 25.75 million deal for Barcelona defender Emerson Royal. Odsonne Edouard nears £15 million move from Celtic to Palace. Mbappe, that feels like it's stalling, which is interesting, especially for Everton fans to get involved. I'm intrigued to know what you think about Richarlison. Because you would imagine that if Mbappe does move and they do want Richarlison, that's all going to kick off really, really late. Really, really late. So I'm intrigued about that. And yeah, as I said, Connor Roberts going to Burnley. Burnley side at Cornet as well. A few interesting ones there. Let's get into the chat then. I'm going to bring in Ethan. Where is he? Here comes Ethan. Ethan, unmute yourself now, my friend. And we can talk about what you would like to talk about, which is Spurs first and foremost. Because after having a really tricky time... Ethan, you there, mate?
Hello.
Come on! Come on! It can be done. Oh, it's just like the Twitch days. Ethan, my friend. Right, let's do this. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think, I'm talking about Paratici, obviously came into the club, director of football, and a lot of people thought, we'd be signing Messi and Ronaldo and everyone, all the best players. We're sat in 7th. In the Conference League, or finishing 7th last season.
Yeah, nearly out of the Conference League as well, right?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people don't kind of, looking at the transfers we've made this or are going to make this season. We've got something there for the next few years instead of just buying players for the here and now.
I agree.
I mean, we probably need both. We need a backup striker. We need another goal scorer. But we're getting these players in. So in 2, 3, 4 years, we can be up there or potentially be up there.
This is a great point. So look, going into, well, let's say the end of the Euros, what were the expectations? This is what I always come back to: expectations for different clubs. Is where are you hoping they'll end up, right? And I think Spurs fans were all considering losing Kane, losing a lot of players, having a manager they didn't want and weren't excited about. And you now look at it, and Kane is staying. And the problem that you'll have of losing, of needing a backup striker, that's always going to be a problem, and it's always going to be a stopgap until Kane does leave, because no one's ever going to start, are they? Like, we all know this as a fact. So I think you're right. I think overall, looking at it now, I mean, you answer it for me. You're the Spurs fan. I think looking at it after everything that's happened, bringing in Bryan Gill, I think, look, you can be excited about him, 20 years old. Gallini's 26, but I guess he's still a backup, but maybe he grows and gets better. Romero's a good signing for the season. And Emerson Royal, I was looking at his numbers a little bit, not blown away by it. I don't think he's that attacking, but with Spurs, I would imagine it's Reguilon is the one you want to be able to bomb on. So often you'll have one that will sit back a little bit. So if he's a good defender, which it looks like he is, then at the end of all of this, you're happy, right? Are you?
Yeah, I think probably. Well, there's so I have it. I've got it written down. I'm making my notes before. We've had Gil, Romero, Gallini. We signed Sarr from Metz. Who I think I think we've got lucky there. We found a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
The potential of Emerson, as you said, and then still today there's been lots of links with Adama and Neves, which I think even we get one of them across the line, I think we maybe we've had a better window than last year.
Yeah,
from how it played out.
That's a good question. Well, how it played out. I guess you're the wrong side.
Yeah,
and I guess in terms of it playing out better, to that word expectations again, that's the thing. Is you thought Bale 15 goals and he's flying and he's found his new home.
Yeah.
You were thinking all these things would make a difference. In the end, Bale did actually score more than he was a bit more of a flat track bully, wasn't he, to be fair to him? So I guess at least, it's about growth though, isn't it, I think, for Spurs? And I guess we're going to talk to someone about Arsenal who's got a very different point of view. But it's these things, sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards, I think, a little bit. And you had a team, it evolved, it looked exciting. You didn't capitalise on it at the time, for better or for worse, for stadium or for not. And so now you're having to kind of start again without trying to take too far of a backward step. And I think someone like Emerson, I like, looking at the stats of him, I quite like him. I don't mind it. Like, his average numbers are pretty good. Like, I think you could see that he is going to sit back a little bit more. You can see on your screen now, guys, with heat map for Betis, I think this might be. He's not going to plow on like Reguilon has in previous seasons. But that's not the end of the world, because you've had problems with fullbacks in the past. A final question then for you for Spurs. The only one that might leave between now and then, mate, is Aurier. How will you feel about Aurier when he goes?
I think every Spurs fan's got respect for him. Obviously, playing after he found out about his brother dying. I think, so every Spurs fan is respectful and thankful, or they should be. But I don't think it'll be a huge loss. I don't even think he's played once this year.
Yeah.
Doherty's got the nod. Yeah, after Tanganga. Who I think would be an interesting one if we do get Emerson. I could see him playing at centre back for some of the season if Emerson comes in, because then we've got 4 right backs.
And Doherty, I think Doherty's not. I know Spurs fans hate him, and I understand why. He was woeful last season, but he isn't a bad player. I know that's and maybe if anyone is going to get the best out of him, then it's Espirito Santo, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's been reported from a couple of sources that, I don't know how reliable they are, but you see on Twitter, and apparently Nuno's unhappy with him and Aurier. That's why we want Emerson. But I think, as a backup right back, you need someone to come on, give you a bit more attacking. Yeah, Doherty's good at that. That's what he does.
Especially if you sign someone like like Traore in the last few minutes of it. But it sounds like the last thing I heard on that was that was very, very unlikely.
I think
we will
50
see.
million.
So tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, I think I'll probably do it about midday. I'm going to do a sort of review of the transfer window. And so I will talk about my nominees for who's won the transfer window. And generally, or I might even do a tier list. I haven't decided yet. So either way, make sure you keep an eye on the channel at about midday tomorrow. But if I was ranking Spurs' window, if you were doing it for me, Ethan, what would you go with out of 10 for Spurs' window?
Out of 10, I think. Oh, it's difficult because for the current squad, for what we need, probably a 6. But if you're looking at for squad improvements over the next 2-3 years, probably an 8 or a 9 in my opinion.
Okay. Well, let us know, guys, in the chat. I'm intrigued to know what everyone thinks. Ethan, what a great first person to have on. Absolute hero, mate. If we do this again, then you need to be on. Good man. Appreciate it, man.
I will.
I'll speak to you soon.
All right, thanks, James.
Cheers, Ethan.
Cheers.
Good man. Let's get some applause in the chat. Normally I'd be able to do it myself, but I haven't got it here. Right, bro. I'm going to drag you out, and we're going to bring in an Arsenal fan. Gunnar Chris is on his way in. Arsenal fans, get writing in the chat as well. I want to know what you think about this, about the transfer window that they've had. There is so much doom and gloom. I've got to be honest. I've been watching a lot of Sky Sports News today, and there was a pundit who, in particular, like the reveling in the Arsenal misfortune is getting right up there now. It's getting close to slapstick. And let's hear what Chris has to say about it. Chris, you want to talk about Arsenal? What do you want to talk about in terms of deadline day? Is he there? Chris, you're there, but I can't hear you, bud. Don't know if you've got you had your mic on earlier. Let's take Chris out. Oh,
can you hear me?
We got you now, Chris. Yeah, go for it, bud.
Cool. All right then. Well, where do you want to start, really? Oh my god. Yeah, it is a bit slapstick. I can't argue that. The amount of memes I'm getting about relegation have not stopped.
You are 20.
You know? Yeah. Well, it is fair, isn't it? My dad's a Middlesbrough fan, so I'm happy to go home and away next year. That's fine.
That's good. Yeah, you can come down Loftus Road. That'll be good.
Exactly, perfect.
Make sure you've put the stream on mute, by the way, mate.
It is.
Oh, it is. I could hear you back.
Yeah.
Just in case. All right, mate. Carry on.
Okay. Yeah. So what I wanted to really talk about was more not Arteta, but more Edu.
Yes.
And sort of the behind Arteta, because that's the bit that, as an Arsenal fan, worries me the most.
Okay. What's worrying you the most about it all?
So I think our transfers, although you can see that they're building for the future. I don't think we've bought anyone who's over 23. Yeah. Ben White is the oldest. But they're not either A, straight ready to go into the team, or B, they're just, how do I put it? I don't know how to say it.
They're not ripe, are they? They're not ripe yet.
No, it's sort of it was like the issues that we were having last season with our possession in the midfield and with our right back specifically. Neither have been solved. I thought as soon as the transfer window opened, we're going to get right back in, it'll be sorted. We're linked with is it Tomiyasu from Bologna at the moment? We're linked with him. I think he could be okay. Yep.
We can have a little look at him as well. I've heard someone saying in the chat that he might have already signed. Just let me know, guys, if he has actually signed. I haven't seen anything on BBC News as of yet. But yeah, go on, carry on, mate.
But I'm not convinced. And if you look back over the last 5 or 6 years, while Edu's been there, while the same backroom staff has been there, we have made some of the most the biggest net purchases, one of the biggest net purchases in the league. Yet, sales-wise and player-wise, nowhere near compared to the other teams.
True.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get that. So here's the thing. You've got to think about Arsenal have to think about themselves. They've got themselves in such a rut here. And I did a video on this literally probably about a year ago saying it will take 3 years to get out of this.
Yeah.
Because if you looked at the contracts at the time, there were just so many players with too much time, still to run on their contract, and players that you weren't sure about as well. Like, let's have a look at Arsenal, right? So if you look at Arsenal's squad, and I'll be guessing at this a little bit, right? But you can hopefully see it in front of you now, guys. If we go through this squad, players that you want long term, right? Aubameyang, probably not, 32. Pepe, you're not sure yet, but 20. He's getting better, but you're not sure. Lacazette, you try to offload him. Nketiah, you're trying to offload him. Reese Nelson, you're trying to offload him. Thomas Partey, yes, but you only got him last year, spent a lot. Odegaard, new signing. El Neni, trying to get rid of him. Saka, one of the hopes for you for sure. Martinelli, I need to see a lot more from Martinelli personally, but he's 20, so it's not something to worry about right now. Xhaka, you've tried to get rid of. Smith Rowe, one of the youngsters, that's exciting. Maitland-Niles, I don't think has been given a fair go at Arsenal.
Him recently, his whole transfer saga with Everton. It's tragic.
So how do you feel about Maitland-Niles? Because I think I've kind of made the point on the squad here. Because if you just keep going through, Kolasinac, Chambers is still involved in the squad. Like, so many of these players, you don't truly want, or you're not certain that they're gonna get better for you, or you're gonna be able to sell them on. Apart from the 5 or 6, and I'm being generous in saying 5 or 6 players that you've either recently bought or have just appeared, not from nowhere, but have just appeared through the youth academy. So what I don't understand with someone like Maitland-Niles, yes, he's 24, but I think Lokonga, hopefully he'll be miles better than Maitland-Niles, but I don't really think Maitland-Niles ever got the opportunity. Do you?
He didn't. No, he didn't. He had, I'd say it's the same problem we had with the Ox, where we had him. He maybe played 5 games in a row in one position, but then he just got moved around the team to fill in gaps.
Yeah.
That wasn't the way to develop a player. It never is.
Yep.
I think he's played, look at his position stats. He's played everywhere because no one knows where he wants to play. I'm pretty sure he wants to play in midfield. I'm pretty sure he wants to be a midfielder pretty much exactly like the Ox. And I think you look at his loan move to West Brom, where he got some games under his belt last season, and he looked like he was, he felt comfortable on the ball, which I didn't get to see a lot from him when he was playing at Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I thought, he comes back, he's quicker than Cedric, he's more progressive than Chambers. I think he'll get right in, and he hasn't played yet. And I can't get my head around why he hasn't.
So just showing people his heat map here from last season, I think that says so much. The guy's played everywhere. And that's a real strength for sure. But and he's got, so it's how you breed your players, right? Sorry, breed's probably the wrong word. How you develop your players, right? So Reese Nelson going to Feyenoord, if that happens, and it's smart finally from them, but it's almost becoming this new rule for them, which I don't think it's a problem because they've done it with Joe Willock, is get him the right loan move. And let him, and make sure that he plays 25 games in the position that you as Arsenal would want him to play in 2 years' time, right? And don't send him to West Brom, because you're not going to play in the style that West Brom are going to play. It's pointless. So he would have been better off going to someone like Everton or Palace last year, and then you get to see them develop, get the game time in the style of play, in the role that you're going to hopefully one day want them to play. And if they're not good enough, you then do what you've done with Joe Willock, where you've got way more, in my opinion, than you certainly would have got if you hadn't let him go in January. But what they keep doing is just kind of going, we sort of want him, we sort of don't want him. There's no clear plan. And they're ruining his career. They're absolutely ruining his career. And there's no way for me that I don't think he's any worse or better than Joe Willock. And if you look at the depth that you've got, and this might be too bold and they're very different roles, I'm not sure either of them are any worse than Xhaka. I've never got the Xhaka thing. You need mobility there. I get that he's good on the ball, but you've got too many things where you're going, oh, I'll fill in for you here, you fill in for me there, and they all get confused because if you're not incredibly well drilled, you're in massive trouble. And so, sorry, coming back to the point here is that for Arsenal, this doesn't get solved. This doesn't get solved this year. Like, this is still 18 months away. It could get worse before it gets better.
It really could.
It really could. What blame do you attribute to Edu in terms of like the very clear like understanding that he should have a pathway in place for all of these young players? Is that what you're annoyed at, or wages, or what?
Not specifically. It's more player management at the club from him. So it's sort of contracts and letting go of players. So players stay on for far too long, or they get let go far too easily with us. So you've got Jaack, who just got a new deal for some reason. Again, I won't know why, but it's happened. So there you go.
Sorry, just to finish the point again. So this is what you do with Xhaka. Like, you don't. They're in such a mess. They're giving people new deals so they can sell them.
Yeah,
that's what's happening with Reese Nelson with this Feyenoord move. And if Reese Nelson really thinks he's got a future at Arsenal, he's mad. He's mad. Same and the same goes with Xhaka. Like, giving him that extra deal. It's like they should have. It's like they're trying to. They've learnt this new rule that within 2 years you need to sell him, but you're going to struggle to sell him. You're going to struggle to sell Xhaka again because he's getting older. Whereas you could have gone, right, look, he's going to have to run this down. We're not able to sell him, or you could have sold him for a lot less. You probably could have given him a loan move. You could have played Willock, and you could have played Maitland-Niles for a season. You'll be in the exact same position, and at the very least, you've got two players who are now 24 with so much more experience who are playing for Arsenal that you'll get 15 million for them, or whatever it is, right? You'll get the same amount. It's just so dumb. It's just so dumb.
I completely agree. I mean, if you just go back in time a little bit, it's been the same for a while. I mean, you look back and you look at the players that we've let go of, that we thought, they've not got a future at the club. They're probably going to move on and develop their career somewhere else. I mean, Gnabry, that is a while back, but he had a future and was binned out. I think even recently, last season, Martinez, he should have stayed and competed with Leno. Shouldn't have been let out, go straight to Aston Villa, improve them so they finish above us. It was stupid transfer market dealings.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's going to be a crux for us in future. It really is. Yeah,
I agree, mate. I think, look, like, that's why I say, like, I'm always confused with this kind of like, where is your patience at as an Arsenal fan? Because of course you're a fan of the club, so you're not going to go anywhere. But but it's not. It's going to take a while, and I've tried to give Arteta a lot of time, but like I said, I stick by this 10 game marker. Forget these first three. If by 10 games you've not seen any real development in terms of the players that he's brought in, then you need a better coach.
Yeah,
you do. Thanks, mate. You've been brilliant, bro. I've got to get through a couple more. So Chris, hopefully we'll chat again, mate. All the best.
All right.
Good man. All right, bro. Next up, I'm going to bring in, and so if you've already chatted and you're in the waiting room, just leave. I think everyone is new who's in there, so I'm going to bring in another one now. Oi, KH, out you get. Ole Khan, in you come. Ole Khan joins me now to talk about Crystal Palace. Unmute yourself, Ollie, and then we can talk about it. If you're enjoying the stream, guys, by the way, please do me a favour and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you feel like this is working, something you would like to do more of, then please let me know in the comments, and we can do it again. I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are as well. Ollie, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, my friend. Let's talk. Let's talk Crystal Palace. I think, look, this transfer window has been brilliant because there's been so many kind of rebirths, I guess, for teams, like none less than Crystal Palace. Talk to me about Palace and where you're at with them.
So initially, like after the season, because we knew Roy was leaving about a month or two before the season ended, and then when it got to the end of the Euros and we still didn't have a manager, I was a bit worried because of the amount of work we had to do. We had like half the squad out of contract, some big first team names in there, and we just weren't hiring a manager. We had a deal for Nuno fall through. We had a deal for, I think, Lucien Favre fall through. I was getting really worried that we weren't going to get the right appointment, or we were going to do a panic appointment, which would end up like De Boer.
Yeah, of course. And everyone's desperate for it, aren't they? Everyone who's not rooting for Palace is going De Boer Mark 2, De Boer Mark 2, because that's the easy story, right?
Yeah, and then when we got Vieira in, I was a bit unsure. I didn't really know what to think, because he did all right at Nice, and then it sort of went downhill. And then people that I've spoken to that are like, I know a couple of City fans who watch a lot of their under-23 games, and they say he did good for them. Obviously, you can't really judge the MLS because it's a completely different sort of game out there compared to like Europe, so I didn't really go off too much on that. But I think they've done well to do sort of like 2 summers worth of overhaul in sort of 1 summer.
Yeah, true.
I think the 2 centre backs. I've been to every game this season, so I went to Chelsea and West Ham away, and I've got a season ticket as well. So
good man.
I've had enough time to sort of watch them, and I think these centre backs are Gurhey and Anderson are unreal. It makes a change to have centre backs that can actually like run. No disrespect to like Scott Dan, Sacco, etc. But they're always getting on a bit, and it's just nice to have some exciting signings coming through the door. Like Elise, I think it's the 2nd season in a row we've signed the Championship Young Player of the Season. After your boy Eze, I was heartbroken when he got injured because we haven't seen him play live.
Oh God, yeah, you're kidding me. That's the best. These are the best bits. Live. Yeah. What do you think about Will Hughes? That's one that I'm a little bit surprised by. Why do you think that they've gone for him?
I think Vieira wanted that sort of player who can sort of sit deep and progress the ball forward.
Okay.
Because I think in our game against Brentford especially, you couldn't really judge too much against Chelsea because we got battered for pretty much the whole game. In the game, it was sort of a breakdown between defence and attack. And I think he's brought Will Hughes in to sort of progress the ball forward.
That's interesting.
Because sort of Gallagher's sort of runs into the box sort of late. So we sort of need that ball progress. I think Luca can do it, but obviously he had some family issues and he's getting back to fitness. And obviously Eze would probably be the main person to do it, but we don't know when he's coming back. So
yeah, I've got that kind of in front of me now. Hopefully, maybe we can kind of like. This is the Watford game. Was that the last game, Watford? Yeah.
That was in the cup, yes.
Oh,
but he made a lot of changes.
Okay.
Yeah, he made a lot of changes.
But the kind of, hang on, but actually, let's get rid of this.
I think West Ham was our last game, and that was probably the best I've seen us play since
West Ham.
Through the door.
Right,
yeah.
Let's have a quick look at the West Ham because I mean, if I want to be quick, let me be quick with it because I saw it in the Brentford game. I think I spoke about it on the last live stream I did with it. You saw exactly what you're talking about, really, because you had, I think it's Kouyaté there who kind of sits, and Kouyaté's maybe that's because he's getting a little bit older. You know, he is a good physical presence there, and he can kind of drop in and play centre back as well. But is he that good at like recycling it quickly? Maybe. Maybe.
Do you know what I think it is with Kouyaté? He's played centre back all of last season under Roy, so I feel like he's used to sort of being that sort of defensive player. And I think it's going to take time for him to realise that he's allowed to pass it forward now. Like I think with Roy, it was much he wins the ball back at centre back and gives it straight away. Yeah,
it's someone. Yeah, you're right. It's someone who's that little bit more comfortable, kind of on the ball. Because if you're like you're saying, so the Conor Gallagher move is genius. By the way, I think it's really really smart because he's going to be that box to box midfielder for you like all season long because he loves it.
It's going to be a similar situation to when we got Loftus-Cheek on loan from Chelsea. Like he's going to be unreal. All the fans are going to fall in love with him, and then we won't be able to get him permanently.
yeah.
Replace him.
Spot on. That is spot on. I do wonder, like, so I guess what it does is with someone like Will Hughes, it gives you a bit of depth in either because this is Kouyaté. It's not working anymore. Have I done something? Yeah, I have. This is Kouyaté, guys, and this is James MacArthur. Both really good. Both generally a bit more defensively minded. But what you might do is you might play Will Hughes where MacArthur is, as that kind of guy in between, or you might play him as the guy who sits deep, and you could put Kouyaté a bit further forward. Has he got the kind of stamina to go and break it up?
Yeah, Kouyaté is very good at sort of winning the ball back, throwing in challenges. The problem with our midfielders is, so like Jairo Reedveld will be the perfect number 6.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because of like his Ajax upbringing and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's not physical enough to be the ball winner in that position, so it's a bit of a tricky one. And then Kouyaté sort of the opposite. He's physical enough, but maybe he's not technically gifted enough. So I think Will Hughes is like a happy medium. So like he's done it in the Premier League. He knows how physical the league is, and he can play the ball.
Yeah.
I think Kouyaté played all the pre-season as a centre back, so I think he's used there. But I'll be interested to know your thoughts. Where do you think Eze fits in when he comes back? Do you think he plays in the front three, or do you think he plays in the midfield three?
I think he plays. He doesn't play in the midfield three.
No, I think it's too unbalanced with Gallagher and Eze. No, I don't think
he's such a beautiful human being that he's got the endeavour to sort of look to defend, but it's not his strength. His strength is getting on the ball. And you want, I guess either way you want him as an attacking midfielder. I quite like him on the left because he can drift in with the ball a little bit more. I guess the thing that's going to take time. You've also got Michael Elise, who's not like Eze. People are going to go, he's like Eze. He's not like Eze. He's
that was another thing I was going to ask you actually, because I haven't seen much of him live.
He's much more about vision.
I assume he'll play wide right.
Yeah, I think that's where he was last year. Am I right? I'm trying to remember. I think he was. I think he was on the right, and then he would kind of cut in a little bit, or start in the half spaces to get on the ball, and then play really nice passes. He's a bit more of a passer than a dribbler. Eze is just an out and out dribbler. But I think I guess this is the thing, is like for all of these teams now, it's about squad depth, isn't it? A lot of the time. So for you to have, previously you would have gone, well, he's our guy. He definitely starts, and if he's not about, we're screwed. Now you're starting to get like someone like Jeffrey Slupp can play in different positions. Kouyaté can play in different positions. I think a lot of people were going after Palace, and I think he's done all right, and I think he's not tried to change too much too quickly.
No,
I think he's done okay.
Sticky one. Like we've got a couple of we're only on 2 points, which doesn't look great. But if you look at the teams we've played, obviously Chelsea champions of Europe, always a hard game. Brentford had their tails up after beating Arsenal.
Yeah, true.
And West Ham, probably one of the best teams outside the top 4 last season.
Yeah, I think you could do with a win just to calm everyone down pretty soon.
Yeah, but Edouard I like. It's the sort of alternative striker we haven't had, because we've had Benteke, Mateta, Sorloth, who are all quite big, hold the ball. We haven't really had a striker that can run in behind. And from what I've seen of Edouard, he can run in behind.
And he's a proper striker. Like you got Jordan Ayew, who's kind of like happy to be there, but he's just not.
He hasn't been good for a while. Jordan Ayew has not been good this season at all.
No, you're right. And
I feel like
Benteke slowly got there, but Edouard takes you a level up, which I think is good. And so, like, if you look, we can see it here. Last thing, I'll have to move this on, bud. But I think with the amount of players that you lost, and the car crash that was possible there, I think you got to be really, really happy. Really happy.
I think you were speaking about Maitland-Niles before, and I'd love him if we could get him on like a loan last minute, because we could need a sort of cover at right back. I don't think Joel Ward's the right back going forward for Vieira's style.
Yeah, maybe.
Andros Townsend is one I'd like to keep, but no, really happy with. I'd say 8 out of 10 so far. Maybe we need a winger, because I don't think Ayew's it, and the other two, Eze and Elise, are injured until late. Yeah. I think October, November time.
Well, yeah, I think keep the faith. Give Vieira a chance, and like you say, it's not De Boer because he's not playing the same way. And I think you can. That's the thing. I think often with new managers, you got to go. Can I see what he's trying to do here? I think you can. So far, I think you can. So yeah,
there's been progress throughout each game as well, which has been notable. So being in the stadiums watching it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, bro. Lovely to chat to you.
Me on.
Yes, mate. No problem. I want to talk to someone. I know we've got a few Liverpool guys in here. I wonder, is there anyone here who's Man United in the waiting room? If you're in the waiting room, you can come into the studio if you're Man United or you want to talk about Man United, because I think we should talk about that. Because that would be good. Someone popped in for a second there. I'm not sure who. Or if you are, if you are a Man United fan, get yourself in the waiting room. Looks like no one here is. So I'm going to just drag someone in. Oh, we have. Oh, no, and he's left. Scary times. People getting scared. It's okay. You're all right. You're all right. Ronaldinho. Let's see. Some people, they're thinking about it. Right. In the meantime, I'll get in my beloved Ali. Ali, in you come, son. Ali.
Jim. How's it going?
Oh, it's been too long. It's been far too long.
It's been far too long. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm all right, mate. QPR getting promoted this year. Life's good.
Yep, 100%.
Got the shirt. Rob Dickey, inspired signing, which of course
he's
made.
Incredible.
He's so good.
How is he scoring this? Where does that come from?
He's so good, mate. He's just banging in screamers, and it's like
if his long shots on FM 22 or in 16 or above, I'll be fuming.
I agree. In the by the way, Ali's going to ask a question in a sec, but whilst get your wavy hands in if you want to talk about Man United. Jared Rigo, you seem to want to. Get yourself in the waiting bit, and we'll talk. Ali, what do you want to talk about,
bro? Jared Rigo actually said midfield there in the chat.
He did.
And that's kind of what I want to talk about. They
great.
signed Cristiano Ronaldo, but the midfield problems that we've seen, for example, in the Wolves game, aren't going to be solved by Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't get why in that particular game he started with Pogba and Fred as a double pivot. Pogba is like an aggressively attacking midfielder, and then Fred just isn't very good defensively. So what you saw was Adama Traore just having the freedom of midfield all for himself all game long. But normally you would see obviously McTominay and Fred start. Is McTominay injured?
I don't know. Yes, he's been struggling a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
Let me before we get into this, Ali. Let me ask you a question as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
Before we get into this, if Man United were to go out and buy, I'm quite surprised not looking for what's his name, Saul Niguez. Am I saying it right?
Saul.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're not going for him. You know, considering it looks like he could still go to Chelsea. But yeah, as a Liverpool fan, if you were to see Man United sign a elite DM, let's say Ndidi for 80, right, plucking out of the air, how would you be pissed off in terms of the financial element of it, that you're like, because I guess Ronaldo's actually kind of cheap, isn't he?
He's kind of cheap. Although he's the highest paid player in Premier League history, it's not like he's getting $1 million a week like Messi was at Barcelona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even like salary wise, it's not completely outrageous relative to, you know, your Neymars, your Messis, your PSG players.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about if they just went in and signed an anchorman like Ndidi for like 80 million, I would, first of all, I'd have to think where the money came from. But they're Man United. I think they're like the highest. Revenue,
yeah, sure. So okay, so really, the short answer is you'd go, well, that's just life. That's just Man United. You'd go, like that. Okay.
Yeah, but I would also go, like, I'd be a little bit jealous the fact that Liverpool do need a midfielder. I'm realizing if there's an injury in our midfield, and that could very much happen with Naby Keita, who has been getting like fairly regular game time. He's played 2 out of the 3 games. If an injury happens to him, which is very likely, what are the midfield options then? Given Wijnaldum left and we haven't replaced him. So I'm looking at the market. I'm seeing Yves Bissouma is available for 40. I'm seeing Camavinga is going to Real Madrid for 30.
I think Bissouma costs more than 40, surely. If Ben White costs 50, surely Bissouma costs 40. I mean, I guess he's not English. That might play a part in this. But yeah, look, I actually think Liverpool's midfield, I think, is actually better than people think at the moment. I guess you got different players in weird little situations. So Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones are great and are going to be great and are only going to get better. And
especially Harvey. Yeah,
and wow. I did my preview. I'd never thought he would play that game.
Me neither, Jim.
Oh yeah, and did, you know, obviously it was a weird game, wasn't it? But the but then you've got Milner's getting older, and Chamberlain can't stay fit, and Keita can't decide if he's a good player or not. So I guess that's it. You've got. I would disagree on the midfield a little bit. I think you've got the numbers, certainly. You got Minamino who can get involved in there as well. I mean, I guess he's probably a bit more of a forward than anything else. But yeah,
Well, I don't
miles
agree really that we have the numbers that are also reliably fit. So we're starting Harvey Elliott is added a really interesting dynamic to the midfield. He's going far right, and then you have Salah and Trent. This is kind of a Salah, Trent, Elliott axis really that are just interchanging channels on the right hand side almost. But then you have Henderson, Fabinho, Shaw nailed on starters. Good. Milner hasn't played yet, really.
Yeah,
and he's like, whether we like it or not, he's 4 or 5. Then Naby Keita can't stay fit. Chamberlain can't stay fit.
But
Minamino is a much more offensive player. So I'm thinking, I don't know about the solidity of the midfield defensively as we have seen before. Like in terms of if we want a game, if in a game like in a Champions League game, if we want to have 3 pressing midfielders as we used to have in, like, let's say 17 to 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I think you've just about it. The important thing is that your starters will probably.
Thiago as well, yeah.
Good point. Thiago, yeah, Jesus. So yeah, I think if anything, in terms of numbers, it's still probably one more striker that you might want. But it looks like nothing's going to happen for you between now and the end, is it?
Yeah.
There's one quick one for you then with Liverpool. Reese Williams has gone to Swansea. They are
Nico Williams.
No, who am I thinking? Am I getting the wrong names? Centre back. Played quite a bit.
Reese Williams.
Yeah. So Reese Williams gone to Swansea. There's so many weird Swansea moves today, and they play uber, especially with Russell Martin's their new manager. They play pass it. Like, I can't stress that enough. And I think the thing he got chucked at him a lot was that he was quite slow as well, Reese Williams. So for a team that's going to like spread out with the ball, and those 2 centre backs going to be quite isolated. Is he going to be okay at Swansea? Because they're selling all these players, and it feels like there's a lot of pressure on this kid. And I just saw that loan move today, and I thought, not sure. With that kind of style of play, would that make you nervous if you were Reese Williams' dad?
No, because Liverpool kind of do play a passing game sometimes. I think the element of being comfortable on the ball with your feet is going to be important, and that's obviously going to be crucial to Swansea's style of play, apparently. So on that part, like, I think he's going to be fine. In terms of the physical challenge of the Championship, I do think he needs that, and it's not something that he was getting at Liverpool. Okay. Not in a million years. With Konate coming in and Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez, fingers crossed, toes crossed, they like stay fit for the entire season.
And literally one word answer: Nat Phillips good enough for Liverpool? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
As a squad player, yeah. Like if you want to play him in the top 100%.
Will he play over 200 games for Liverpool?
Good question, Jim. Yes.
Okay.
I'm willing to make this shout.
Interesting. That is a bit of an inside joke from our Discord. If you do want to get involved in our Discord, it's a wonderful place, and Ali is a key member. Ali, thank you so much, mate. Lovely to chat to you, bro. I'm going to take Ali out. 2,000 people watching right now. If you could hit the like button, and if you are feeling very kind today, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. Got some wicked videos on the way. Dream Teams is back as well, and we'll be doing a stream tomorrow, hopefully midday, about the transfer window. Who won it? We'll find out on the stream. Right, who's popped in there? Someone's just flown in. Let's go with it.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, bro. I'll tell you what, I want to get through quite a few people here, so we're gonna go kind of quick fire, but give me a question. Let's go.
All right, yeah. So I'm an Arsenal fan. From New York, right? We're about to sign a new right back.
Yes.
What do you think of the right back situation at Arsenal right now?
The Arsenal right back situation is I'm not sure it's peachy anywhere at the moment. So earlier in the stream we were talking about Maitland-Niles. I don't really understand why you've not kind of retained him or given him a better opportunity. Just have a look at the squad now. I think the right back situation is a mess. Actually, now I really have a look at it because you've got Bellerin. I mean, the Bellerin thing is weird. He's completely lost his way. Cedric's not that bad. I think we just expect him to be bad.
Like, to be fair, the way that like Arteta wants to play. And, like, I know, like, the past 3 games, he might not even be here by, like, October. Yeah. Like, the right backs that we have right now, like, kind of invert, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think, like... Sorry, go on, mate. Go on.
Oh, sorry about that. And, like, the new one that we're trying to get, he plays center back and right back. So I think that's what he's trying to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the big thing is you got Tierney's gonna like so many of these teams you'll have one right back that's gonna go. One guy who's gonna sit back, or if you look at say Man City last season, you would see that a lot of the time. You have that kind of inverted fullback. A lot of teams doing that these days, and then you might especially want to do that with a midfield where you're going to maybe try and take out Xhaka, bring in Partey and play Lukongu there, and then you haven't got someone just kind of filling in all the time. I think. The right back situation is a problem. It's a problem now. I look at it.
Like I saw the whole Instagram post with Ainsley, and I went like, this guy just wants to go.
Yeah, man. It's a tricky. Yeah, it's tricky. Like, I think the problem here's the thing with the fullbacks. I think sometimes you've got to think about ceilings. Like if someone's okay right now, and you want them to be brilliant, do they have that ceiling within them? I don't think Bellerin has it anymore. I don't think Chambers has it, and I don't think Cedric has it, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
I think part of the reason, right, is sorry about like almost cutting you off, right?
No worries.
Is like the way that Arteta plays, he's like quite left-sided. You know what I'm saying? Like it's quite left heavy, and
yeah, of course.
Like with like Tierney. And then, like, Saka playing on the left, Emile Smith-Rowe playing on the left. And it would just keep on going in, like, a donut. So I don't know about this whole right back, like, inverted. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't really help Pepe. And it doesn't really help Saka when he plays on that right side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. Pepe's another battle that he's got here that he needs. Saka needs to play on the right for me. I really think that because he will give you that width. There needs to be a bit, much better balance. And I think Saka would prove that. I like Pepe, but it just, even if he started they need to work on his positioning and go, okay, sometimes, yes, you can drift inside, but sometimes you've got to stay out really wide, start off really wide, and then you'll keep the opposition's fullback honest, because what happens is the fullback, the opposition fullback knows he'll never go wide. So I'm just going to stand here, and you're safe because you've got bodies around you. That's a problem, man. Bro, I'm going to have to keep moving on just to get a few more people in. But, mate, thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I love your channel, bro. It's like, it's one of my favorite. That's all I wanted to say. Right
thank you, mate.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, mate. All the best. Thanks, man. Bye.
You too.
Right, I'm just going to drag and drop, guys. Drag and drop. THFC has been here for a while. Let's get you in. KH, you're next in, bro. Who's Wales? Someone else. FC Riley, give me a question. Let's go.
Right. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, bro. What's up?
Right. My question is, do you think Spurs' recruitment has gone under the radar this year? And do you think we've closed the gap to the top 4 in any way?
It closed the gap. Are we talking knowing you're going to keep Kane? With the fact that Kane's not signing, he's someone that you've just retained, or do you?
I mean, like closing the gap between the top 4 and by keeping Kane. I think both.
I think that Kane, Kane is everything for you guys in terms of wanting to be a top 4 team this season. I think the problem you've got is that the top 4 teams in this division have strengthened miles more than you. So
yeah, definitely.
So that's what I think. That's why with Arsenal or Spurs, it's like don't panic too much. You need to grow a team that's amazing in 3 years' time, because right now you've not got one, and you're not going to have one. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Man City that will be the top 4 this season. So yeah, I think it's you're obviously in a better position, but I don't think that should be a concern. I think we should be your concern should be having a team that makes you feel like you did when you left White Hart Lane. That's what you need.
Do you think fifth is where us, Arsenal, Leicester should all be aiming for this year? Then
I don't think you can aim any higher. I really don't. Think about who Chelsea have brought in Lukaku. So they've improved like a Kane's worth on top of what they had. Like Kane's obviously same level. Man United, Ronaldo, Liverpool. Liverpool are a very, very good team and have their best players back. So I think, look, if anything, you hope the Ronaldo thing doesn't work, which would be amazing if it doesn't. Not amazing as in good, as in it'd be surprising. And you maybe sneak in fourth, but I think you've got to massively exceed expectations. And the players, we've got to see a different Bergwijn, we've got to see a different Moura. Like, can Moura get that much better that he completely dominates games every single week? I'm not sure.
No,
same with Bergwijn. So yeah, I think you go for fifth and try and enjoy that and go win the Europa League, or whatever it is, or like
Conference League.
Yeah, win something.
I think we've got I'm sorry to interrupt. We've got to go far in a cup competition this year. Definitely, we've got to finally, show, because we always get into semi-finals, get into finals, and we're never getting that final hurdle, and that's what's making players like Kane want to leave Tottenham, because we're not getting over that final hurdle.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, mate. I'm going to keep moving to get a few more in, bro. Appreciate it. Right, next, KH. It's going to be one question, one answer. Love this. Quick fire. KH, what you saying, bro?
Hello,
my friend. This is fun, isn't it?
how's it going?
It's good, mate. I'm enjoying this. I was wondering if it would work, but it's been good, isn't it?
It has. It's been very enjoyable, mate. I've been in the chat. I've been loving life. Met a few nice people. Met a few questionable people. But yeah, nice. Happy to be part of it.
It's the world we live in. What's your question, mate, or what's your topic?
I'm here to talk about the mighty Liverpool FC and our lack of business in the transfer market, other than locking down contracts, which is obviously, as the club are very happy to tell us, it's just like signing a new player. Henderson, new contract, just like signing a new player. Van Dijk back, just like signing a new player. Harvey Elliott is just like signing a new player. But realistically, none of it's like signing a new player. And yeah, just getting a bit scared, because the top teams have all they've added hundreds of millions, and we've added a £40 million centre-back who has not started a game yet for us.
True. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, you can't just. It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's hypocritical. If everyone throws cash at it, there's what, like, do you remember Fulham spent like 100 million, and people, and then every pundit just went, "You can't spend money." Like it's mental. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think Liverpool have always been that little bit more sensible, I would say. Well, no, actually, that's probably not fair. Like, if you think of when you've been good, you've been sensible, and when you weren't sensible, you weren't that good.
I agree, but I think it's important to note that the majority of our spend, say if you look at the big summers after we spent when we brought in Mane, etc., then before that, when we brought in the range of players that Klopp brought in order to sort of build his team, they all came after big outgoings. They all came out. The first lot came obviously after Suarez left. Obviously, that was still the Rodgers period. Then Rodgers got sacked the season after, and then obviously when Coutinho left, we managed to rebuild from there. It just seems that there's not really many outgoings in the owner's point of view coming from their own pocket. It seems that, but it's obviously very well documented that we are net spend FC and all that. And it's just frustrating getting to the last day of the transfer window. We know that players are going to be going out at the African Cup of Nations. We know Bobby Firmino looks like he's got a 3-month injury. Diego Jota had injury problems last year, and I'm just worried about the forward line, because we've got Cade Gordon in the youth team, but he's only 16, and I can't be putting my hopes and prayers on someone who can't even legally vote yet.
I
can't be doing it.
I think that actually they are doing the right thing, because it's probably worth you take your chances this year, knowing and go, can this team be durable enough, after last season, and you'll get your answers this year, and you'll have done that with money kind of kept in the bank,
Yeah.
And you'll be much better for it. All right, mate?
I do very much hope so, but I think we're going to do a lot better than a lot of people think this year. I think the fans coming back will inject a big boost into the team, and we have obviously added Thiago, Tsimikas, and Jota since we last won the league. A lot of Liverpool fans look at last season as a bit of a write-off, because obviously we had a terrible season, no fans in there. I think a lot of people are trying to see it as a bit of an extended season-long pre-season to this season kind of thing. But I think if you look at reality, it's hard to get excited when the other teams around you are so strong. And as much as Ronaldo is a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit of a distraction to United fans rather than distracting from their actual issues in the middle of the park and obviously with the owners and stuff. However, even though that is the case, it's hard to not look at that marquee signing and be a bit jealous and just think, oh, what if we brought Luis Suarez back? And it might be a bit of a silly way to look at it, but yeah, it's just a bit of a difficult pit. Because it's deadline day, it's difficult to look at.
I get it. Yeah. Of course. No, and you're right. All these feelings and emotions are correct. Like, all these feelings of like, oh, but they've all got these shiny things. I want a shiny thing. I would say that, like, it's keeping calm in how you sort of approach it all is a much better way to go, and it's what brought you the title, and it brought you the title on. And allowed you to kind of remain healthy. Like, so I think trust in that for now. I think if it went on and on, there are moments, aren't there? We go, oh, okay, right, we need to go now. Alisson, Van Dijk, Bosch. But then there's other moments where it's like, well, we've got everyone here. Maybe we don't push it just yet.
Yeah. And I think, sorry to interrupt you there, James, right, mate. I think a lot of the feeling among Liverpool Twitter, Liverpool YouTube, all through the transfer window has been just wait. Last things sort of last minute. Nobody knew what was coming. Fabrizio Romano had no clue about Liverpool. Just wait, we'll have something done by the end of the window. And as it's got to the end of the window, we've all sort of been like, oh, nothing was happening behind the scenes when we all sort of half expected it to be, because we have been so elusive with transfers and rumours in the past.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's just why there's a big sense of anxiety in the Liverpool sphere at the minute. But like you say, we've still got the team.
Still got good team. Yeah, that's it. I think you get that's it. Just what I did a video on this. I don't know if everyone who has seen it and who hasn't seen it, but we did one where we chatted to a sports psychologist about how do you kind of move on, and people kind of got me wrong with it, where I was saying failure, and I used the word failure to a point loosely, but the failure was the fact that you had won the title, you didn't defend the title, and you want to do that again. And I think you do have to just ride this one out and see where you're at. And
people overestimate how difficult it is to retain the league.
Certainly.
I just think, and I think also people forget that we finished above Chelsea last season.
I certainly do. I forget it all the time.
And that's with Ozan Kabak, who's just signed for Norwich. So it does show. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I was happy, James. I'd be lying if I said I was happy with the transfer window.
Fair enough, bud. Right, I'm gonna have to let you go, mate, because we've spoken about Liverpool quite a bit. Cheers, mate.
Sorry.
That's all right, bud.
Cheers, mate. Your shout out to the chat, etc.
Cheers, bro. Bye.
Nice.
Right, guys. We're gonna have to do. So what I want to do is, I know a lot of people want West Ham chat. So if there is a West Ham person in the waiting room, then move yourself in. Otherwise, I'll literally just have to do quick fire answer. And I'm trying not to be rude, but I just want to try and get through as many people as possible. So let me get through a few questions here. And if you're a West Ham fan, make sure you get in here. The link is in the description, my Discord. Get involved in that Discord. And we've got some amazing numbers here today. So do consider subscribing. It'd be great to get 1,000 likes before the end of the stream. I think we're about 700. So if you are watching at the moment, if you can move your mouse or whatever it is and click that button, that would be wonderful. Right, question answer. This is literally question. I'll answer it. Jack, go.
What position do you think Leeds United need to sign the most?
I would say they still need another centre-back or a centre midfielder, maybe. Maybe another midfielder, because you've got maybe a bit light there. What do you think?
For Phillips.
You need backup. I agree.
Anyone to replace him.
I agree with you, Jack. Maybe another centre-back. If you could have two Llorentes, then you'd be looking really good, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Because if you look at Robin Koch, he doesn't seem to get into the because Bielsa wants him to play holding midfield to be the replacement for Phillips, but he can't really play there because he's a out-and-out centre-back.
Right, yeah. And he said, he doesn't fit that, does he, at all? I think it's, you're right, you're light in midfield. The weird thing is, though, you have a light midfield, don't you? You don't always play lots of guys in there. Like, Stuart Dallas is often pretty much playing centre midfield for you. So, I think I was wrong. You were right, Jack. Centre midfielder, good shout. You want to make sure Phillips stays for 10-year deal, I think, would be a good shout.
Yeah, he has to stay.
He's got to stay. Jack, you're a legend. Appreciate it, mate.
Cheers.
See you, bro.
Bye.
Bye. Loving Jack. AK, my guy. Question answer. Go for it. AK, the producer. Come on, son. You got 5, 4. AK, you got to hurry up here. 3.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate. Go.
2 quick questions. First one, Arsenal, should they have signed Tammy Abraham? Or any striker?
Yes. Thanks, AK. Appreciate it. Great question, AK. Who's that? Tom. Go on, Tom. Sorry, AK.
Hi. Hello, Ty.
Hello, mate. What's your question, bro?
I'm a West Ham fan.
Okay,
and I've been looking for one. With, the recent signings of Zuma and Vlasic coming in, and we've been linked to a couple more to come today, like Alex Kral from Spartak Moscow and Jonathan Bamba from Lille on loan. Are West Ham in a good place to possibly get Europa League football again?
I think what you're trying to ask me is it coming home? Is that what you're asking me?
I'm asking, are we going to win the Europa League, James? That's what I'm asking.
I think you're going to win the Europa League. No, mate, look, you've got to be buzzing with what's going on down there. Vlasic as well. I remember listening to podcasts before the Euros, and they were talking about like who's the underrated player for Croatia. He's Croatian, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were of course, everyone talks about Modric. Vlasic is the guy. So I'm intrigued by him. 23 as well. You'll definitely be able to sell him on for a bit of cash. Zuma, 26. You forget how young he is.
I know.
Mate,
he's been around for
great
ages.
moves. Great moves. I think you've also got a little bit of depth there, and you've got a team that's quite durable because of the style of play that you play. So I think it's super exciting times for West Ham. I've always got a little bit of a soft spot for West Ham, I'll be honest. And I think the recruitment there over the last couple of years has been really, really good. Have you got another striker coming in? That's the only problem, is it? It's Antonio. If he gets injured, you're screwed, aren't you?
We're picking Bamba from Lille to be sort of a striker option. He's a winger more. Plays more winger. Also, we've got Bowen, who could also play the striker. We've got quite a lot of versatile players in our team. That's what I like about us. Got players who can play in a lot of positions. Like we saw last season, when Antonio got injured towards the end, we had Lingard playing in the 9, Bowen playing in the 9, and it worked effectively. They're very good goal-scoring midfielders. And with our team currently, I like the signing of Vlasic a lot because he's not going to immediately start like I assume Lingard would, and break up that chemistry that our front four currently have, which I think is really important for us right now because Fornals, Benrahma, Bowen, Antonio, it's working amazingly at the start of this season. And with Lingard, it cost a similar fee to Vlasic. He's on the last year's contract. He's 28 or 9, I think. I think Vlasic is a better investment, personally. Yeah,
I'm okay with that. I just think that it would be such a shame if you didn't have someone to sort of back up Antonio, especially if you want to play. Because the thing is, if you want to win the Europa League, you're going to have to play 60 games. Is that squad?
Exactly,
can that squad play 60 games? And I think that's going to be tricky. But that could affect the league, and maybe you just go, we're going to go for it with the Europa League. I think that will be a decision that needs to be made, and I think that decision will probably be made around January, and you'll see where you're at. If you've got a better chance of getting in Europe again, they'll go with that, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Sorry, bro. I just had a little brain freeze there.
No problem.
Thanks for calling in. Thanks everyone for calling in. This is so much fun. I really didn't think it would work out this well. I've clearly got amazing people who watch the channel because you're all incredibly intelligent and well spoken. So thank you to every single one of you guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. So make sure you join me if you don't want to miss on that. Hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, get involved in the comments, enjoy the rest of your transfer deadline day. Queen's Park Rangers will be getting promoted now we've got Andre Gray. Happy days. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, Tom, by the way. Cheers.
Thanks, James.
Cheers, guys.